Hello there. Welcome to Navigating Life as an Immigrant Woman, where we share stories and challenge you to expand your thinking and leverage your immigrant advantage. If you are on that journey of becoming a successful woman, you are in the right place. In this episode today, we're going to talk all about identity. It's February, and in Canada, February is Black History Month. As a proudly Black Nigerian Canadian, I observe this month in many ways. And this year, I am really thinking and reflecting on the theme, Ours to Tell. So, today, I really want to focus and start off this series with us reflecting on our identity and the value of that awareness and taking ownership of our identity in our success journey. I once heard a story about an eagle. Now, I'm not really sure if this is how the story went, but this is my recollection of the story, and I do not remember where I got it from. But it has stayed with me in this way. So I'm just gonna relate to you the way I remember it. An eagle's egg found its way amongst the eggs of a hen. And when it came time for these eggs to be hatched, the eagle came out with the chickens. However, as the chickens were growing, because the hen took this eagle as part of its chicks, as the chickens were growing, the eagle or the eaglet did not realize that he was not a chicken. He did everything like the chicken. And then one day he looked up and saw an eagle soaring high up there in the sky. And he asked the mother hen, "Wow, I wish we could fly like that bird up there." And the mother hen was like scratching her head and thinking, that's your tribe. You should be able to fly. But guess what? Because this eaglet was not aware of their identity, they did not know that they could fly as high as the eagle. They did not know that they were an eagle. But once the eaglet learned about its true identity, it was able to pivot and start to learn, and naturally, of course, began to fly and bid the mother hen and the brother, sister chickens goodbye. Okay, that's my version of the story. I don't know if that's how it went, but that's how I took it. So for me, this story really reflects for me a couple of things which I want us to reflect about when we hear Black History Month. You know, oftentimes some people say, "I wasn't there when something happened. It happened so long ago." But I can assure you that we cannot do away with history. We need to learn history for different purposes, because history continues to repeat itself, good and bad. In fact, very recently, we have seen a repeat of history that happened in 2020 with George Floyd. We need to talk about history because there's so much to learn. Specifically for Black History Month, for me, it's an opportunity for us to listen to stories about those people that were here before us, how they have been fighting, and the foundation they built for our freedom, and opportunities. For me, it's also an inspiration to make sure that I do something. When I remember our conversation in the last episode about life's purpose, I have to think about the legacy I am leaving, because someday I'm going to be history. But what legacy am I leaving? How am I being a great steward to be able to help those that are coming, after us, our future, my children, my children's children? So we cannot disregard history. There's so much to learn. There's also power in storytelling. When I share my stories with you, when you share your stories with me, we are able to see ourselves in other people's stories. We are able to relate our problems to other people's stories and be able to figure out how to go forward and solve our problems. So the second thing that I learned from the story about the eaglet is representation. When this eaglet was amongst the chickens, it just behaved like them. It probably thought it was a chicken, but knew something was different. There were a lot of things that were not really like him, but he thought he was like, that's where he found himself, till he saw something that looked like him and asked questions, and that triggered for this eaglet to learn to take its place and identity. So when we talk of becoming a successful immigrant woman, it's really very important for you to think and reflect. Where have you been? So your identity, what was it in the past? What did you learn from it? What is your identity right now? Do you even know what it is? And when you're talking of becoming, what is that identity you want to become? These are really very important questions to ask yourself for you to be successful in everything you're doing and living your life's purpose. Crafting your own story can be so powerful for you in every part of the community. For me, seeing people like me in places where decisions are being made that impact me, my children, my friends, my community, it's really very important. So I always think, what are the skills that I need to have to be in those places? What are the things that I need to show to be in those places? What do I need to learn? What values do I bring to be in those places? Because we need to tell our story. It will help other people. And our lived experience is our superpower. Do you know how to articulate your lived experience so that you can use that as a valuable tool to empower yourself and other people? It's sometimes we think we know our story, but if we don't take that time to step back like that eaglet and ask questions and say, who am I? Who really am I? And begin to discover the fun stuff, our struggles, our challenges, and our successes, and be able to piece that together, talking about the life map and just deep reflection. Until we do that, we may actually be assuming other people's identity, and then we cannot advocate really for ourselves. We cannot create that awareness of where we're coming from and what our intention is and what the impact we want to have in the society is. So I encourage you today, as we kick off Black History Month, to step back and reflect. What is your identity? What was your identity? And what is the identity you want to have in becoming a successful immigrant woman? Yes, I have had identity crisis, not once, several times, because my seasons in life have changed from becoming a parent to being a stay-at-home mom. But doing an exercise on defining, crafting, and owning my story has helped me immensely in my life journey. So I encourage you to do that exercise. See you in the next episode.